Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. My special guest today, Chef David Skinner, who just won the very best restaurant in America by Eater.com. His restaurant is ISHTIA. That's the one I speak of. And if you've been with us for this hour, you've enjoyed this conversation, I'm sure, as much as I have, learning a lot of new things and about this young man, David Skinner. David is I got to say two things here. If you're watching instead of listening and you're watching the YouTube video, uh, I got to give you a compliment, David. That's the cleanest restaurant or owner's office I've ever seen. Normally there's invoices and paperwork everywhere. So congratulations on that. Good job on your
Thank
clean
you.
office. That's probably how you keep it all running so well. The other thing is that I've noticed about you is that you're very calm and you've got a gentle personality. Does that help you in this business that you you don't look like you're stressing out too much and you probably are, but it's under the surface. You're very calm and I like your demeanor. It's a compliment.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, uh yeah, as far as cleanliness, yeah, we as my grandmother used to say, cleanliness is close to godliness.
I
So
mean, yeah.
we have
I would here's one of my last questions. Well, I wanted to also said David Skinner, he's done so much that we didn't get through most of his life. He took a 2 decade break. And what was he doing during that time? He had a career with Conoco, and he eventually built one of the world's largest energy strategy consulting firms. That wasn't enough, though. So he also wrote a couple best-selling decision-making textbooks. He became an adjunct professor at Rice University, and he has a series of business startups. He is the man with many talents and many hats and a lot of energy. That's our David Skinner here today on the show. Um, but here's my last question for you: Is Grandma Mimi still with you in the kitchen
no. Well, in spirit, yes.
in spirit? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
we
she had a nice long life. She died 7 years ago now, but she lived to be 95. So
oh, that's a good life.
I'm hoping for the same. So
Got to be very proud of her grandson. And what's maybe the most important thing if you reflect back on those days and hours and years in the kitchen with your grandma Mimi? What is the most important thing that she taught you that you use
I
daily?
think, well, the one thing she said is there's one ingredient that always has to be in anything you cook, and that's love. If you don't cook with love, the food's going to taste that way. And I agree. I mean, we get people in the restaurant all the time, and they're like, "We can taste your passion in this food," and it's not just my passion. It's all my staff. Everybody that works at Ishtia loves what they do. They love working there. They love helping, the guests. Um, and it shows. And you really can taste the difference
Yeah.
between something that somebody made that had passion for that, and wanted you to have, the most incredible, excellent time you could possibly have. And so I'm super proud of my staff and all the hard work that they put in. We love our guests. We have guests that are regulars that return all the time, and everybody has a choice in where they want to put their dollars and what they want to spend their money on, and having people to come back time and time again is just that for
I
me as a restaurateur and owner, that's just like the best.
biggest compliment you can get.
Yeah.
It might even be better than being called the best restaurant in America
Yeah,
to have
well, I
the
mean,
best experience. That's a toss up, isn't it?
yeah, those are, I
How
mean,
about
those
you
are
keep
those are
both?
great. I can't thank Eater enough for
Yeah.
all they've said about us. We've garnered lots of praise since we opened, and that's all great, but it's the guest that really matters. And And my goal is to give them the best experience that they've ever had at a restaurant. I mean, it really should be every restaurant's goal is
Yeah.
how can we give the guest the best experience? Because if you do that, you don't have to worry about portion control and cost control and all those other things. That all goes by the wayside. Um, you know,
Yeah. We can't leave without saying ISHTIA means beginnings
correct.
in your native Choctaw.
Sure.
I didn't want to leave without. I think that's a really, really cool name. Translated ISHTIA is beginnings. So
Mhm.
is this just the beginning for you, David, or what? What do you what do you
It's
have coming up here in the next that you want people to know about at the restaurant?
Yeah, well, so we'll be changing the menu this month, December, probably towards the end of the month, and we'll be moving into very much a winter menu with more wild game on the menu. And one of the things that's going to be interesting, it's a little bit of my old French restaurant. Roots coming back out, we're going to do a wild game trolley. So we'll have a cart that comes by, and you can choose the different game that you would like for dinner that night. And I think that'll be fun.
There's a big smile on David's face right now. It
Yeah,
was
I kind
biggest
of miss
smile
the
of the
old
interview.
trolleys.
He
Yeah,
looked excited for this.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're working on trying to recreate an event we did, gosh, about 6 years ago now, called Around the World in 10,000 Bites. So it was a dinner for 100 people, and it was 101 courses a person, so over 10,000
Wow.
courses a night. Um,
Is
we've
that a world record?
It is a world record, yeah, yeah.
Incredible.
We planned to recreate it the year after we did it, and then guess what? It was a pandemic, and so that didn't happen, and we've kind of been waiting for the right time. I think 2025 is going to be the right year to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be bigger and better. So my goal this year is instead of 10,000 bites, it's could we do 50,000 bites?
Jeez.
So more people, more courses. It's going to be outrageous. So
You know they
that's,
call you an
that's kind of what's
overachiever.
coming up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been
Let
called.
the French like wine, right?
I like the French like one. I like
David,
wine.
yeah, and you should, and you've got a couple businesses that we didn't get into.
Right.
Um, Clear Creek Vineyard. So go check that out, clearcreekvineyard.com, and Meticulous Spirits, meticulousspirits.com. Ishtia is the restaurant that we've been talking about this hour, and the life and adventures of Chef David Skinner. ISHTIA.com. Make your reservations if you can, because again, it just got named the best restaurant in America by eater.com. David, thank you so much for your time today. Um, really, really had a good time talking to you. And uh,
Likewise.
I wanted to, just as a final note here, I wanted to thank you for the playlist. And I'm going to tell you why. David Skinner supplied the playlist today, and it's just a beautiful. I'm going to put it up on Spotify, so if you like the music, you can find it there under the Jeremiah Show. But my father was a lifelong supporter of Native Americans, and he read and watched any book, any movie he could find, get his hands on. He, as a hobby, he painted on deer skin. Um, he made moccasins. He created a life in the outdoors that was built and inspired by the Native Americans, and it was like his whole life was dedicated to it. It's one of the reasons we moved around. David and I didn't talk about that, but I moved around 12 schools, 12 years. He was always looking for a the perfect home to raise his family in the outdoors, that where he could practice some of the things that he learned and admired about the Native Americans. He passed away sadly before this radio show began. So in May 2015, he passed away, and I started the show in June 2015. So he unfortunately never got to hear it. But David, the thank you goes to you for the music and for the conversation. He would have liked this episode. And your soundtrack made me think of him fondly this morning. So I wanted to thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Thank you
Okay.
for having me on. This was great. And
And I hope to get to Houston soon.
I,
At
I,
the
I hope
restaurant.
I hope so. I hope so.
I hope I can get in. I'll get in line with everybody else. Chef David Skinner, thank you so much. The restaurant again, ISHTIA. Check it out, ishtia.com. Thanks for listening. Communicate, but listen more and evolve. Everybody have a great day.